Wednesday afternoon game on NBC, and the man who called the Bears Packers game on Sunday night with Mike Tirico and has been calling some games with Mike Tirico for Notre Dame football and is in studio. He's a jack of all trades. He's suddenly become the Taysom Hill of analysts. He's Pro Football Hall of Famer from NBC Sports, Tony Dungy. How are you, Coach?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm laughing at that description, Rich, and I'm also laughing because you don't know the backstory to this. You asked how long Chris Collinsworth's been there.
Go for it.
Usually what happens every Thanksgiving, I do the Thanksgiving Day game with Mike Tirico, and then Chris and Al do the Sunday game. Chris wanted to switch, so he switched with me. And he's been in Pittsburgh since Wednesday. He now is able to vote in Pennsylvania.
So that could have been you. That
Crazy.
could have been you, is what you're saying, Tony.
That could have been me. I could have been on a normal year. I would have been there. Now, it would have been great for me because my in-laws live there. I had roots in Pittsburgh. But for Chris Collinsworth, the Cincinnati Bengals, to be in Pittsburgh for a week is not good.
Well, I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter, I guess, what your professional playing affiliation would be. Just being in Pittsburgh, ordering maybe from Primanti Brothers down the street for 6 days, that'd be a problem for me, I'll be very honest with you.
Well, I would have gained some weight for sure. I'd have been at my mother-in-law's house. I'd have had Primanti Brothers. I'd have had some good things, Bob McCall's. I have some old spots there that would have hit me up for sure.
Tony Dungy here on the Rich Eisen Show. There's no roadmap either for these coaches. None. Zero.
No.
Right?
This is amazing. I just don't know how you do this, how you're Mike Tomlin, you keep your guys fresh and going. And then if you're John Harbaugh, I really don't think this is fair that you don't have practices and you're not able to go and you're expected to go in there and play well. Now, John is not going to have any excuses, and he's going to expect his team to play well. But this is tough duty.
And then again, just not knowing when you're playing, right?
Yes.
And then I can't imagine what it must be like because, you as a Hall of Fame coach can attest, right? I mean, football coaches are the most controlling of control freaks of all time, right?
Routine-oriented.
Okay.
Yes.
I guess routine-oriented might be a better way to put it than control freaks, but
control freaks is good too, yes.
What must it be like to sit there and know that you're going to get COVID reports every day, right? And you have no idea what's coming your way when somebody walks in. You got good news or bad news. Like I'd be one of those give me an actual hand signal when we walk in the room.
Right.
I don't want,
You don't know when you're going to play the game, when you're going to fly to Pittsburgh. You don't know who's going to be able to play. Every day it's something different. This guy's up. He'll be able to play. Now, these three guys won't be able to play. And this guy can play. And you might play tomorrow. But no, now it's going to be Wednesday. And it's not going to be a night game. Now it's going to be 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That drives people crazy. Warren Sapp once said about me when I coached him in Tampa, Warren said, I'm the only person who can tell you what I'll be doing a year from now on Tuesday at 8 o'clock because my coach doesn't change his format at all.
Oh, that is phenomenal.
And I kind of took that as a compliment.
Well, I mean, and Tomlin's from your coaching tree, Tony.
Yes.
So how do you think he's approaching this week in this game
Well, all
been?
these coaches have had to adjust, and they've had flexibility. Everybody I talk to, they say flexibility is the key. You can't do it the way we've always done it. You can't get caught up in your routine. You just have to adjust. You may have a practice squad wide receiver that has to play quarterback for you. And you know what? Adjust, adapt, and don't worry about it and go. It's difficult, but that's the way it is, and I think that's the way everyone's approaching it.
Hall of Famer Tony Dungy, NBC Sports Tony Dungy here on the Rich Eisen Show. I guess the good news, if there is for the Ravens, is RG3's in a veteran hand, right? And somebody who, we were just recounting in our first segment, Tony, how 2 years ago RG3 was having his wife film him throw footballs at palm trees to show off his accuracy on Twitter to get a job. This is a big moment for him. I know that there's a lot of guys who he's probably never thrown to that it's on the field and it's a difficult spot, but this is a huge opportunity for him today, Tony. What do you think the offense is going to look like? The same thing, maybe even a little bit better vertically with him, do you think?
I think he'll do just fine. If I were Ravens fans, I wouldn't be concerned about the quarterback play. I think Robert knows the offense. He's practiced as much as anybody. Hasn't maybe practiced. Well, maybe he has practiced with some of the guys that are going to end up being ousted as the scout team guys. So they may have a good rhythm. But I'd be concerned about my running back. I just read that Mark Ingram and Dobbins won't play. So you got Gus Edwards, and this is a running team. They need to run the ball. Now, what happens if something happens to Gus? I don't know where you go from there, and that's what I'd be concerned about. But I think Robert Griffin is going to play just fine.
Tony Dungy here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk about the game you just called. Tony, I know you don't throw these words around cavalierly, but you spoke for what I was thinking when Jamal Williams just busted right up the middle of that Bears defense on Sunday night to put a 40-burger on the board officially. You said the Bears have given up. The Bears look like they've given up. And I know you when you say stuff like that, you understand the meaning of that. What is the meaning of that, though, for this team right now and moving forward, Tony?
Yeah, and I was talking about that particular game. I wasn't talking about the season or anything else. Just at that moment, the Bears defense, we're used to seeing pride, and you think Dick Butkus and Brian Urlacher and Mike Singletary, and that's what I think of the Bears defense, and that's the way they played for most of the year. And at that particular moment, it was almost like, gosh, it's all come down. And rather than these three guys make the tackle at the 3-yard line, they're going to score eventually. And you just saw that will being broken a little bit. They'll bounce back, and they didn't quit in the game. They came back and they played. But at that moment, it was like the dam just broke, and we can't stop this water from gushing out.
Now, but if you're a coach and you're sitting there and you know your quarterback spot is an issue, and you see that on the field, and how I know you say that they'll bounce back, but how do you make that happen? How does that happen?
Well, you go and you challenge them, and you say, you know what, this is not acceptable. And I played with some guys, Joe Green and Jack Lambert, that I don't care if it's 50-0 and we're on a 10-game losing streak. That is not going to happen. People aren't going to walk in our end zone. And that's the mentality that they have to get back, and they've got to challenge each other. And, yeah, that was a tough moment, but you know what? We're better than that, and we will bounce back, and we'll show it this week.
And what's your assessment on what if the Bears called you up and said, "Hey, Tony, what do you think we should do here?" What would you say to them?
I'm always one that says sticking with the direction we're going is good until you see that it just can't work. The Bears did a lot of great things in 2018. They did some good things last year. This year, it started out okay. It's gone downhill from there, but they've got a good staff. They've got a good plan. Here's what they've got to do. What did we do well in 2018? We ran the football. We had Jordan Howard. We had Tariq Cohen. We ran well, and that set everything else up. And we played solid defense, and we got the takeaways, but we were ahead a lot. Defense is fine. Defense is going to be okay. We've got to get them where they're ahead sometimes, and they're defending passes and not just having people, run the clock down. Offensively, we've got to get that mentality back. We've got to get some offensive linemen healthy. We've got to feel like we can run the ball. Mitch Trubisky will be okay if they can run the football like they did in 2018. So Montgomery, I think, is a good, solid back. We've got to find another one. We've got to hope Tariq Cohen comes back full speed. But we've got to get that mentality back more than anything.
Yeah, but you need, as you saw with your own two eyes, and you know deep down as well, number 12 in Green Bay means you got to have somebody at that position better than okay. Is Trubisky the guy, do you think?
That I don't know. I have not seen enough of him to know that. But he's not the entire problem there. And to me, the problem is not so much at quarterback, but it's their running game. I love Nick Foles, and Nick Foles can do something. We saw what Nick Foles can do when he's got LeGarrette Blount and, the running game that they had there, and he's got some good receivers and a great tight end. But Nick Foles couldn't do it behind that offensive line with that running attack. So let's not be so quick to throw Mitch Trubisky under the bus, and let's figure out where we are here. I want to see them. Get back to the mentality of 2018, and then we'll figure out how good the quarterback is.
A few minutes left here with Tony Dungy, Pro Football Hall of Fame head coach and NBC Sports, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. There's salary cap concerns. There's also concerns that maybe the kid you drafted in the second round isn't ready to play yet. There's different reasons why a coach makes a decision. What's your best guess why Doug Peterson keeps Carson Wentz in the game and keeps appearing to bang his head against the same wall in 2020 here?
Well, Carson Wentz right now is the best chance they have to make the playoffs. And Jalen Hurts is not going to give them the best chance to make the playoffs. If you're saying, hey, we're going to look down the road and 2 years from now, these reps we're giving Jalen Hurts are going to pay off, that's one thing. But if you're saying we're trying to win this thing, and 6-10 may win the division, and what's the best way for me to get to 6 wins is definitely Carson Wentz. Now, they've got some issues, too. Their offensive line is in tatters, and they're not able to run the ball as well as they would like. And there's different receivers out there. And defensively, they've got to be a little more solid and sound. So there's a lot of things that the Eagles have to fix if they want to win 3 or 4 more games and be that playoff team. But Carson Wentz, no question, gives them the best chance in these next 5 weeks.
Tony, when was the last time you got a call from an NFL team kicking your tires to see if you'd be interested in actually coaching again? When was the last time that happened?
I think it was 3 years ago, but I've had some calls recently that seem more than just a coincidence. that people are just, hey, how you doing? How you feel? It's good to talk to you. And people I haven't heard from in a long time. So I think it's been about 3 years, but you never know.
So they're not calling to ask you the question directly, but just to say hi.
Yeah, what do you think about so-and-so? Do you think so-and-so would be a good coach? And, what do you think about our team? And never ask the question, but, it just seems like out of the blue calls.
Because, you and I go back and forth as to why you wound up in the great state of Minnesota. As opposed to staying at home in Michigan and playing in the maize and blue. And, the Lions have a gig open there. And the situation very well there, Tony. I mentioned your colleague Jim Caldwell as a possibility to come back there, Tony. Boy, did I get lit up.
I would do, if I were them, I would bring Jim Caldwell back and say, hopefully we can fix this thing. But I'm not sure what the Lions are going to do. You and I, Rich, have watched this for years and years and years. And it seems like every time we make a little progress, it goes back downhill. I want the Lions to be good. That's my home state, the team I grew up rooting for, and I hope they make a good decision here.
Well,
going forward.
Now I guess I'm bringing up Caldwell because I got lit up that Jim didn't beat teams that with an over 500 record. And there was once 9 men on the field and so on and so forth, and that he didn't have the stuff that the Lions needed. I mean, that's literally what I got in terms of all of that. Do you think he got a raw deal back in the day, Tony?
Yeah, I definitely think he got a raw deal because they were going in the right direction. They had a good chemistry there. Just listen to Mrs. Ford's press conference when she let him go. That was the most unbelievable thing I've ever heard. Hey, our locker room is better. We've got great direction. We've won more games than we've had over any 3-year period of time in the last 40 years. Our city is better. Our players believe in him, but we're going in another direction. Come on. That says a lot right there. But the Detroit Lions, they're playing the Dallas Cowboys in a playoff game. All they got to do is make a first down to win the game. They throw a flag, pass interference, have a big conference, pick the flag up. Dallas ends up beating them. They were a playoff team, winning a playoff game, should have won a playoff game, 9-7, and someone doesn't win and that kind of thing, and you're out of it and you don't make the playoffs at 9-7. Well, we can't take the next step. We need somebody to be a little more tough, hard-edged, hard-nosed. Well, you got all that, and what were we, 13-29? So I think it was a raw deal. I think had Jim Caldwell stayed there, they would have been a playoff team right now.
So what do you?
I really believe that.
What do you tell to people when they ask you to assess their organization when you think they might be kicking your tires, Tony? What do you say? To
I tell them to really take a look at yourself. I go back to Dan Rooney, Rich, and Dan Rooney and the Rooney Rule that came from his name, all of that. Really, Dan Rooney had a philosophy. Here's what I'm going to do. We're a cold weather city. We're a tough town. I'm going to hire young, communicative, aggressive defensive coaches. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm going to go out and find the best guy. And then when I hire him, you know what? I'm going to stick with him. And we're going to see it out. So when Chuck Noll goes 1-13 the first year, we're not going to panic. Okay? That's our formula. I pick my guy, and I'm going to stick with him. And the Steelers have done that for 50 years now. And that's what people need to figure out. First of all, what do I want? And I have to set that tone and start a direction, and then I've got to stick with it, and I've got to ride it out. And people may not like it, and fans might get upset, and they might think Jim Caldwell's not tough enough or this or that. But you know what? We're going to stick it out. And that's what I tell people when they talk to me. First of all, tell me what you want. Tell me what you're looking for, and then I can help you go out and find that.
What if their answer is Tony Dungy?
Well, let me go out and help you find a poor man, Tony Dungy.
That is good. All right, Tony. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. We're looking forward to seeing this game today, and I guess the next time Chris asks you to swap games, you say no problem.
Think about it before.
Yes, he might have a hitch in his giddy up. We've got the photograph up. There it is. It looks pretty bleak.
I saw it. And I was laughing because I said, you know what? That could be me. That could be me.
Take care of yourself, Tony. Appreciate the call.
Righty.
We'll chat again soon. You got it.
Always nice being with you.
Right back at you. There's Tony Dungy. I follow him on Twitter. You should too, at Tony Dungy, Pro Football Hall of Fame coach. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.